Morning, YouTubers, people who have engines that smoke. A few things need to be determined by this. And what spiked this video was I watched a guy last night with a 170,000 mile Toyota Corolla that was burning a quart of oil every 300 miles. He had a check engine light on, and he never discussed that. If your check engine light's on, you need to determine, is that the root cause of your oil consumption? Could be, could not be. But just keep throwing products at it and not knowing what you're chasing is a problem. So at 170,000 miles, and if you're not the original owner and your engine's smoking, it was not maintained properly. Period. I seen him pull the oil filter off, and you could see sludge build up, not clog, but sludge build up in the oil filter housing. That only happens when oil burns and gets too hot and sticks to the housing. Cut and dry. So at this point, you need to identify where the smoke is originating from. Does it smoke on cold start? Does it go away after it warms up? Does it continue to smoke the whole entire time you're driving it? Where is it going on? So typically, if your engine smokes on cold start and the PCV system is working properly, and you need to identify what color smoke it is, that's important too, but if you suspect it's oil, cold start, engine smoking and clears up is typically valve guide seals or valve guides or a combination of both, typically. The next one would be, does it smoke while you're accelerating? Well, that could be on top of worn valve guides and seals, stuck piston rings, melted piston rings, oil control normally. Problem is how long has it been like that? Did it already tear up the cylinder walls and put flat spots and scores in the oil control rings? You need to take a borescope and rotate the pistons down and up and inspect the cylinder walls to see how much damage is going on. There's no cleaner going to resolve missing metal. Just like no cleaner is going to fix a catalytic converter that has no material inside of it. But if the cylinder walls are in good shape, there's a good chance that you may be able to address oil consumption and maybe some smoking by cleansing and cleaning the oil control rings and the rings. You're not really going to do this from a top-end service. You're going to need to do this with additives poured into the engine oil, and you're going to have to repeatedly do this. My favorite stuff to use is Motor Flush 10 minute. I never use it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes worth of Motor Flush is not going to resolve anything. It's going to help remove some varnish and things like that, and it's not going to resolve it. You want to leave the old oil in there, make sure it's full, and add the entire quart, and let it run. And then work the RPM ranges up and down between idle and 3,000 RPMs, here and there. You don't have to do it all the time. I don't know what condition most people's engines are, but if you're having oil consumption problems, you already know what's going on. Got a problem, and it's a major problem, and it's from lack of early interval oil changes. That's letting the engines run low on oil, driving the oil past its ability to do its job. I don't care what anyone says, it's doing its job, turning black. That is carbon deposits deposited into the oil and causing problems. The more carbon deposits, the less the filter can clean, and the stickier that gets, and it sticks to things. So you can also add a quart of transmission fluid, and this is a process. It's almost like healing your wound on your skin. It's not going to heal overnight unless you're superhuman. It's going to take a few different treatments to get that sludge from sticking the rings or pushing the rings out to where they're tearing up the cylinder walls. But you really need to investigate the cylinder walls first and see how much damage is going on. If you have a 4-cylinder, pretty simple. If you have a 6-cylinder, more complex. V8, V12, V10, you know the deal. But identifying where the oil burning is coming from is key to minimize you wasting your time. If the top end shot, you need work. If the bottom end shot, you need work. If it's not to that point, chances are you can cleanse it. I've cleansed sticky valve guides. I've cleansed behind valves with some treatments. I've cleansed tappy valves with treatments, and I've also cleaned up sticky piston rings on people's cars that have not been abused so bad. Are you going to completely fix it? That's hard to say. Have you ever scraped carbon out from a piston ring landing? It is pretty tough. It's almost like scraping concrete. But you got to loosen it up, and over a few different treatments, it will do something for you. Either your car's going to smoke more or it's going to smoke less. One or the other. It's either going to burn more oil or it's going to burn less oil. But doing the treatments is definitely going to improve the quality of that. And if your engine is whistle clean inside, your engine oil is not going to get dirty immediately after you change it. It's only getting contaminated by the crap that's left inside your motor. If you have a diesel, this is excluded from you. Period. Thanks for watching.